Welcome, Army sports fans, from sea to shining sea. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, your place for Army West Point Black Knight football. And tonight we are here to get you ready for the Army-Wisconsin game. And in studio, I have with me the human Ouija board, Steve Kripke.
Yes, sir, man. It's good to be back. I mean, and I tell you what, this past Saturday, a Saturday in the fall without Army football is like a day without sunshine.
Well, I know the Saturday in fall for you was really hunky-dory, not for me. And also, we'll
get to that later.
We'll get to that later. We have one of our great friends and longtime sponsor, Nick Micas, here. Nick is now not the owner, but he's the founder of Nick's Restaurante, and he's joining us tonight. Nick, how you doing?
Hey, I want to say that it's a God founder, not just a God
That's right.
founder.
He's the owner emeritus.
Let's do that too. Yeah, all good.
Well, Nick, as you know, has been with us in studio for about 6 years, and he dropped by tonight because Colonel Tom Economy is still on injured reserve with his torn Achilles, which he tore in a most heroic manner, stepping off his motorcycle backwards or something like that.
No, I think Nick had a good thing. We need to reword that. He was doing a PLF off of the motorcycle.
Yeah,
that sounds, it gets a little
It was not a good landing.
No, it was PLF, by the way.
Did not stick the landing.
It's called a parachute landing fall. And folks, just to catch everybody up, again, Nick, you tell them a little bit about Nick's Restaurant.
Well, I'll tell you, 10 years, going on 11, and being with you guys for the pregame show has always been one of the highlights. I've always enjoyed it, and I appreciate coming in and seeing y'all again.
Well, we're glad to have you with us. And again, folks, we're here tonight. We've got a good show lined up for you at 7:15 Central Time. We have Coach Sean Saturnio, who is the special team coach for Army.
Special team coordinator.
Excuse me. Yeah. The special teams coordinator. Oh, my God. Okay, special teams coordinator. And then at 7:30, we have a famous, world-renowned Army blogger, Johnny Brooks, who's got some good thoughts about the upcoming game with Wisconsin. And then after that, we're just going to analyze Wisconsin and see what's going to happen with those games. But before we get too far down the road, I do want to mention our other good sponsor, and that's North Alabama Mortgage. You can find them at northalabamamortgage.com. And if you need anything to do with a home loan, especially if you're a veteran and you want to get a VA loan, or you just want to have somebody help navigate you through the morass of financing a house and doing the deal, Brian Hammaker and his staff can do that for you. They're experts at it. And, you don't have to be buying a home. You can cash out your house, put your kid to college, buy a bass boat, whatever you want to do. NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
And I'll vouch for Brian. He's a good family member of Nick's Restaurante.
That's where I met him.
That's right.
As we say in Texas, he's a good people.
Indeed.
He's good people.
Indeed.
Well, speaking of Texas, before we get into the Army, I guess I got to eat a little crow with Mr. Kripke here because he's a big Texas A&M fan, as evidenced by his Aggie shirt.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bama fan, and I'll tell you what, Steve, Jimbo Fisher outcoached Nick Saban last Saturday night. That's all there is to it.
And like I said, having watched pretty much every game of A&M's this year, they did things scheme-wise, and I saw looks and that I had not seen in any other game. And I sort of wondered, did Jimbo sort of save some stuff that may have cost him the game against Arkansas and Mississippi State and save those for Bama? It was a different team. They came with an intensity I hadn't seen this year.
The offense showed up.
That quarterback.
He
was a quarterback transformed
yes.
in that game.
His name is Calzada, but in honor of Tony's at West Point, I call him quarterback Calzone. and he played like a Heisman Trophy candidate. And I will say this, Alabama's defensive backfield, were they a blanket, they couldn't cover a bed. And they just got shredded and picked apart. But enough about that. Okay, Steve, I bow to you.
That's right. Yeah. Time to move on.
Move on.
Painful episode.
Watch out for the what do they call that after a big victory?
The big letdown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, watch out.
Well, speaking of not having to worry about that, Army doesn't have to worry about the big letdown after the game 2 weeks ago. And that's where, we got beat by Ball State. And if you look at the score, you say, oh, my God, it was just really too bad. That game turned on a couple of plays. And that's –
yeah, and early on. Yeah,
first quarter.
Army just dug a hole with that kickoff return and then that long touchdown pass for a touchdown. And suddenly, one right after that, we're 21 points down. And second quarter went almost the opposite. We weren't able to tie it up. But, yeah, that hole that we dug would just ended up being insurmountable.
And, a lot of people say, and I happen to be one who might agree with this sentiment, is they say the worst play of that game did not happen against Ball State. It happened against Miami of Ohio when quarterback Christian Anderson, after having ran for 234 yards, went down with what to me looked like a broken right collarbone, but the coaching staff is very tight-lipped on the.
Well, yeah, they said it wasn't a break or a tear, so there was left it that deep contusion or bruise or that. Now, where I would take issue with that assertion is Christian Anderson doesn't play on the kickoff return, or kickoff team. He wasn't out there defending that pass and that. So I'm not sure that his presence would have prevented that big hole. Now, might we have come back? That's a possibility.
What do you think, Nick? You watched. You probably lost a bob or two on it, right?
Oh, on occasion I dabble, but we've shown that we like to get a lead.
Right.
And we have difficulty if we don't have that lead.
Yeah.
We there's something in the mental attitude, I don't know, but we have that difficulty of going, oh, wow, we're down. Just keep doing the same thing. It works. And we have a tendency to forget that, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it worked for us, and that's one thing that I like to take, a little silver lining out of that game. We were down 21-0. In the past, we're down 21-0. The game is over.
Yeah.
This game wasn't over. I mean, when it was we were down by 7 points. We hit the pass that Tyler unfortunately did not connect with. The game's tied, and then it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But after that, hey, Army is now the grand total of 4 up and 1 down.
Still looking good.
Still looking good. And this weekend when we play the Wisconsin Badgers, this is, as Johnny Brooks said, and Johnny Brooks will be on at 7:30, this is a winnable game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he said that, there's no reason why we shouldn't win. And I think, this bye week probably came at it was sort of good, bad time. Coach Monken says, he doesn't want a loss going into a bye week because then you've got to chew on that loss for 2 whole weeks. I think it probably put a little fire in them, and they probably went into that bye week a little more focused, realizing there's some improvement that needs to happen. And I would say it would not surprise me to hear that those practices were pretty intense. And not necessarily because it was imposed upon them by the coaches. I think the players, being the caliber that they are, wanted to get after it and improve.
Well, the Coach Monken after the game said that the players were going to feel the sting of this loss. And I'd be willing to bet that sting was there's that damn Navy guy driving that train.
It's that time again.
7 o'clock at night that only goes 100 yards up and down the road. But I do believe Coach Monken is really got that team motivated this week.
I believe, and you're right, that week of practice, the game will be a relative break compared to the practice.
Yeah. Thank God. Let us go play. Well,
exactly.
I was up at West Point this past weekend for my daughter's wedding and roamed all around. Nothing was going on at the football stadium. Nothing was going on at the practice field. I think the coach allowed his team some time to, heal a little bit.
Yeah, a little R&R.
And that was well-deserved. I know the coach himself, as proven by a photograph, was at the West Point Oktoberfest with his family and their little dachshund for the weenie dog races they had up there. So, and the coach needs some family time. Everybody needs some family time like that. So.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Family time. Well, how about adult family time? Do you know that Nick's was voted in the top 30 steakhouses in the nation?
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
We knew it was the top one here.
Top 30 in the country. That ain't bad for a little mom and pop joint.
Good for you.
Well,
Good
and
for
folks,
you.
if you've never been to Nick's Ristorante, it's in Hunts Vegas, Alabama. It's on Bailey Cove Road. As I say, it's a driver and a pitching wedge south of the intersection of Bailey Cove and Weatherly. And the thing, the food, everything's awesome, but the hospitality, the service, the family atmosphere.
Second to none.
When I say family atmosphere, I'm not saying family atmosphere like the Golden Corral.
They treat you like your
They treat
family.
you like family, and that's the good thing about Nick's Ristorante. And we're certainly glad to have Nick here with us tonight. And Smoky Mike, I think the clock, the station's moving, by the way, and the clock on the wall has been replaced by a piggy bank. So,
Money in the bank.
Money in the bank. So we're going to go ahead and take our first break, and we'll be back in a few minutes with Coach Sean Saturnio, Nick Micus, the human Ouija board Steve, and Colonel Tom is out of action with a torn Achilles. Crawdad back in a few.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-free meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Okay, honey, I just booked our weekend with Alabama State Parks.
Great! Let's pack the van.
Tent?
Check.
Fishing rods?
Check.
Golf clubs?
Check.
Bikes?
Check.
Sparky?
Check.
That's everything.
Let's go.
The kids!
Alabama's 22 state parks offer the best in recreation and natural beauty, from gentle mountains to sugar white beaches. Alabama State Parks, your other backyard. Plan your stay today at alapark.com. Brought to you by Alabama State Parks, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, your home for Army West Point Black Knight football. And we have with us tonight one of the great coaches from the Army staff, who is the special teams coordinator, Sean Saturnio. Sean, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, aloha, guys. I'm doing well. Very blessed. Thank you.
Well,
Hope you guys are the same.
We
Yes,
are,
we are,
and we appreciate that sentiment, and we appreciate you taking about 10 minutes or so of your time out tonight. And is the team getting pumped up to play Wisconsin after they had an off week? And we were speculating some pretty spirited practices.
Yeah, that we indeed had. I think, you don't need much when we have the opportunity to go in and play these Power 5 programs, especially at a, historic venue like Camp Randall. It's just, it's the things that, when you're recruiting these young men and saying that you're going to have opportunities like this, it doesn't take much to get the chili hot.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that's not something they have to be forced to get up for. So you have a bye week at an opportune time, I think. Yeah. Chunk of the season out of the way. So from a special teams point, how did you invest that time, that extra practice time that you had?
Well, we spend a lot of time especially the week before, in fundamentals, getting back to stuff. We always talk about, exaggerating the fundamentals. And, I always talk to the players about the drills we do turn into the plays that we see on Saturdays. So getting back, making sure that we go and are really attentive to the technique that we need so that we can be successful. And then, after that, kind of morph that into more schematic stuff to get ready for what they do on the different phases of the special teams game.
Excellent. Hey, aloha, Coach. This is Nick. I think you're doing a great job on the kicking, punters and field goal kicking, and I believe this game's going to have a lot of that in it. I see it coming down to a pretty close game. What do you think?
I appreciate that, and yes, we've talked to the boys about that, and they're in a really great spot mentally. We work a lot on just that aspect, and especially in their particular role that they play in a football team. It's talent. Yes, that says a bunch of it, and there's technique and so on and so forth. But you got to win that battle between the ears in that particular job more than anything. And they're in a good place with that. We spend a lot of time on how to get dialed in. Make sure that you're not overthinking, because that'll lead to underperforming. And just being present, trusting in your process, and everybody's process is going to be slightly different, and getting them to understand who they are, and that you've won most of the battle just once you hit that point.
Well, Coach, hey, this is Crawdad. The special teams play this year has just been outstanding. There's been, a couple of breakdowns every now and then, but anything that that you specially worked on to tighten the noose up on those guys and get them ready to go?
We just, some of the things we worked more on just remembering and going through a lot of walkthrough stuff. Just, some schematic things on certain coverage stuff. We've been covering kicks well as a whole now. We let one out against Ball State, which was unfortunate. We had guys there. We just didn't, we didn't execute what we needed to. We had people around the ball just, and that was unfortunate, especially, starting the game off like it. But, you got to have a short memory in that, because I say, you take away that one play, and we've been doing a really good job of covering kicks. So it's just, like in anything in life, you don't want, one slip up to define who you are, and we're not going to allow, our guys to think that way. So, going over there on just, identifying, I heard a man speak once, and he talked about, there's no failures, there's only feedback. So, looking at the type of feedback
that's great.
so we can learn from, those setbacks and be better for it.
Now, speaking of kicking, Zach Harding, what a remarkable talent. Not only just has a cannon of foot, but can do it with accuracy, and especially those games where it's a field of position battle. What do you think about his prospects, maybe beyond West Point? Now the door is open, playing on Sundays, if you will. What do you think the potential is for him to play, extend his playing days beyond West Point?
I think he's got tremendous potential, and I everyone I speak to said, everything you're seeing now, he's continually, getting better, and I think the ceiling's very high for him. Now it's going to be like, obviously you get to, aspirations to the level after college, then there's a whole lot of other things that, it's really, you got to be really 100% behind. This is really what you want to do. And, I think, though, that just from the standpoint of what I've seen over the last couple of years and how the strides he's made and will continue to make, I'd be certain that he's got a shot.
Hey, Coach, Nick again. I noticed in your bio you spent some time in Division III up Beloit College up there, and what many people probably don't know, that's in Wisconsin. So,
it sure is.
Just using my common sense brain, since you're from or spent some time up there in Wisconsin, I imagine you've been able to glean quite a bit of good information from the Wisconsin side of the bench there, huh?
I probably should keep in touch with my guys over there more. Actually, there's a number of them are going to, come out. I was up there for a couple of years before transferring back to the home team back in the islands there. But, got some great people, down up in the Midwest. And actually, my mom's originally from Chicago, and one of her brothers actually lives in Wisconsin. So two of my cousins and one of their husbands that got them tickets, so they'll come support us, and they'll be wearing black and gold, no red and white, that's for sure. Or else you don't get tickets if you show up with red and white.
There you go. Well, hey, Coach, a couple more questions for you. Mine is kind of more of, and by the way, we think the team's really looking good this year, but just from your experience, just briefly, how different is it coaching at West Point than other schools?
Well, it's so. You look at just what all our guys have to go through just on a daily basis. It's far different than your traditional college athlete. No matter, I don't care if they're at a high academic school like the Ivies or just, your run-of-the-mill, public college or university. It's just different. And it's the appreciation you get for what our guys have to do, especially as you guys know, the time management issue. And, it's no room for people that make excuses. It's people, we're built on people that find solutions, and that's, you got to find a way out. And it's great to see that how, as a staff and as a program, we can help contribute to, their leadership style and skills. And, forever, how long or short their career in the Army will be, America's sons and daughters will be, how they get led will be directly determined by, their experiences, not only coming out of West Point, but coming out of our football program. So seeing that and just, knowing that the young people that leave your program, you're expecting, no matter what school I was coaching at, I'm expecting my guys to do great things and whatever, and greatness can be measured in a lot of different ways. From being first and foremost, I always talk about them being a great husband, being a great father. You can't measure that by any bank account or any material thing. But I expect that from them. But knowing what's expected from our players just on a more, national and global scale is extremely humbling to be part of.
That's a great perspective, man. I'm in lockstep with your value system. That's fantastic. For those of us who have been Army football fans for a long time, we hit a stretch there where there was a real dearth in the place kicking game, and even as Coach Munkin and you all came on board, that seemed to be an aspect from a kicking standpoint that it took a long time to get where we are today. Now you've got Cole Talley and Quinn Moretsky. I mean, both of them are proving it on the field. What has led to the fact where, for the first time that I can remember in quite a few years, we've got 2 capable kickers that you could send out on the field? Is that a function of recruiting? Is there a new system in terms of developing and training? How have you gotten where we are today?
I think, first and foremost, as you go out and recruit, recruit, your guy, not just from a skill set, but that the whole nine, that, finding someone that, you're going to be in a fist fight with Thayer every day, some of the guys, for their entire career over here. So, but just having that grit about them that no matter what, they'll work their way through. They'll work their way through any rut they might have. They'll carry themselves with the type of humility that when they do taste success, it doesn't go through their head, and they remain humble and hardworking. So I think recruiting the right type of kid, obviously, finding that type of kid that has, these other qualities to be successful at West Point. And then in addition, you see the potential for them to become contributors in your football program at a high level. So kind of separating the wheat from the chaff with that kind of stuff, I think recruiting has definitely helped. Speaking for me personally, just continually, you always try to model for your kids what you expect of them. And just I always talk to them about being lifelong learners and just telling them, hey, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room, but you got to be smart enough to know who the smartest guy is, and go learn from them. So, just personally, just being able to go out and do professional development, do a lot of reading, kind of expand even beyond just the technical and tactical side of the sport, but just this, like I mentioned earlier, just the mental side, spending a lot of time learning that, learning, brain research type of stuff. And, it's just all this stuff that kind of adds into the pot. And then, you have a culture that just wants to be successful and pushes each other to be successful and holds each other accountable. And then, you get some great stuff that'll spring forth from that.
Well, hey, Coach, we certainly thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. I know last time we were on, you couldn't make it because you were doing some good things helping your players, and that's great. We respect you for that. And I'll tell you this before we let you go. Tyrell Robinson's going to break one off this week, and Wisconsin's going to know that.
There we go.
He's overdue. So, hey, Coach, thank you very much, and we'll go ahead and let you go. Appreciate it. Go Army, beat the Badgers.
That's right. Thanks, Coach.
And
Appreciate it.
Nick, I think we're going to have to take a break. Folks, we're going to be back in just a minute. We have a real quick special announcement from Nick, and then we have blogger Johnny Brooks back in just a couple of minutes.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ?
AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
In 2 years, you can have a career that makes sense for you. Skill up and earn a living working with your hands, or work on the front line of computer information systems and cybersecurity. Get a degree that lets your healing heart take care of people. Help design and manufacture the most advanced cars, machinery, or even aerospace components. In just 2 years, great careers are within your reach at Drake State Community and Technical College. Visit drakestate.edu to apply.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000 square foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-free meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford alongside the human Ouija board, Steve Cripey, and the God-founder of Nick's Restaurante, Nick Micas. And Nick has another engagement to go to, so we want to give him a little final word before he gets out of here. For longtime listeners to the show, you will remember Nick's Picks. Nick's got a couple of picks, and then he's going to tell us about a special program he has done that's benefited both my son-in-law and my son. Go ahead, Nick.
There you go. Well, anybody that has been paying attention knows that I do like the dogs. I like underdogs. So we got Georgia giving 22 to Kentucky. Does anybody watch Kentucky play?
Yeah, it seems like they're undefeated.
Yes,
yeah,
they are. And Georgia coming off of that big game against Auburn, that's one of the oldest rivalries around. And so, yeah, there's a little bit of letdown maybe. And both good, but, yeah, take Kentucky with that 22. Here's another one. South Alabama. They're giving 3.5 to Georgia Southern. Well, they're good, no doubt. If you look at the history, Georgia Southern has a history. They beat South Alabama. Take Georgia Southern with the 3.5, and then I'll give you the big one because I know you're gonna be looking at it at the end of the show here. And we got last I saw, Wisconsin's favored by 14 with a total of 39. Well, like I said, I do believe there's going to be some kicking involved, and I got the final score 23-20, Army.
Ooh, nice.
Go Army. Yes,
close
indeed.
game, decided by a field goal.
I believe the kicking game's going to be involved. So there it is.
There we go. And tell a little about your program that Nick's Restaurante sponsors.
Exactly. We definitely like to support Army football. In addition to that, we have a good history of taking care of deployed troops. And over the years, we've supported different units that are deployed in different locations. This year, we are supporting 3 separate units at 3 different locations. Can't tell you where, can't tell you who. But I've talked to them, and they're going to be thrilled with what we send. So anybody looking to help us, there'll be boxes at the Ristorante starting on the 1st of November, and our anticipated ship date will be right after Thanksgiving.
Outstanding. That's good for you, man. That when you get those little things from home,
and it doesn't matter who it's from, doesn't matter what it is. Thank you much.
Yeah. All right, well, Nick, hey, it's great to see you tonight, and Kay out there listening to the broadcast, and I'm sure I'll be down to see you sometime soon.
I appreciate it. It's always good to see you guys, and go Army.
Go Army.
Be Wisconsin.
Yes,
yeah.
All right, that's Nick Micas, and now we have our other guest for the evening coming in, Mr. Johnny Brooks. Johnny, I understand you're there.
I'm here if you're there.
Yes, we are.
We're there if you're here or something like that.
Appreciate your patience.
Johnny, I'd like to, I read your blog, and one of the things that you said that caught my attention was that this is a winnable game. Tell me why.
Well, I mean, it's a winnable game because I think the defense will keep us in any football game we play this year. They might bend a little bit, they might take a couple lumps, but they're going to keep us in the game. It's just a matter of what offense shows for the Army team.
Yeah.
If the offense shows for the Army team that we've had in previous years, and maybe even the first game, we're going to compete with them. We're going to compete with anybody if the offense shows. But I got to tell you, the last 2 games, the offense has not shown.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle. So much of it is you look statistically and strengths and weaknesses between these 2 teams. There's a lot of there that's strengths on strength. Which for me points to maybe the game coming down to some of the intangibles. What do you feel like are some of those intangibles that we need to look out for?
Fumbles, turnovers, first down yardage. They fumble a lot. They get intercepted a lot. We hardly get intercepted unless we do something stupid.
Which has been known to happen.
Which has been known to happen. That was the bonehead play of the year, I think. They have a terrible turnover record. We just need to ensure that it's all a positive to our side again. And first down yardage by both teams is critical because their defense is really good on first down, and our offense is not so good. And that puts us in the hole if we don't get started right.
Well, our offense has to do well. That's especially on first down. But one of the things I know you seemed, from looking at your blog, to have a pretty good handle on is the injury situation for the Wisconsin Badgers. Seems like they got a lot of problems. They may have some people not playing. Can you give us a report on that?
Well, I can only tell you what I've read. I don't know if any of it's true because I've concluded that there are some football coaches who have studied World War II and misinformation plans and deception plans. If the reports are correct, they got a lot of their offensive line hurt. Several of them played last week, and I don't know if they're hurt again or if they weren't hurt or they didn't update their injury reports. But they got a lot of guys on injured reserve, so to speak, or at least questionable. And in some cases, several weeks in a row. 2 games ago, their quarterback, the Mertz kid, got what looked like a significant injury. It looked like he possibly had cracked ribs. He left the game, and then the second stringer, Casey, came in. And I was surprised to see Mertz play this past week, but he played. So I just don't know what to believe about injury reports from any team in the NCAA.
Well, any school such as Wisconsin, whose motto is Numen Lumen, which means divine light, they're not gonna lie about that stuff. So, Steve, what do you got for?
Well, I want to sort of continue the discussion on the injuries because I thought it was an interesting contrast with Monken on the Monday presser when he's asked about injuries, all he'd say is they're progressing. And yet Wisconsin puts out a formal injury report, almost similar to what the NFL teams put out. Now, different tact, which, like you say, Wisconsin may very well be not on the up and up on theirs. But given those two tacks from a strategic, or more of a tactical advantage, which one of those approaches from a coaching standpoint do you prefer?
I guess I like Monken's approach better. Hold your cards to your chest. You don't have to tell the whole world about your injuries, and he certainly doesn't do that. I was impressed by the interview that I saw, or the interviews I saw with Chris, the Wisconsin coach. He was very forthright, very straightforward with their press. He told them on occasion take a long walk on a short pier, and he was very upfront with them. When it came to talking about the kid that he just kicked off the team, who was our leading rusher last year, he just said, "I'm holding my conversations to myself and the player." I thought that was the way to do things. So I guess I got to say, I like both their approaches. They were a little bit different, but I like both of their approaches.
Well, Paul Chryst has been a highly successful coach at Wisconsin. In fact, there have been, Barry Alvarez, Brett, however you say his name, Belima, a lot of successful coaches there, and I like Paul Chryst too. But he doesn't have to have some success this weekend, right, Steve?
Yeah, definitely. In your write-up, you had two matchups that were toss-ups, and one that you gave Wisconsin the advantage, and that specifically was when Army has the ball facing the Wisconsin defense. Elaborate a little bit on why you tipped the hat to Wisconsin from a defensive standpoint.
I think the linebackers are superb. When I looked at their linebackers, I saw Ball State's linebackers all over again. The two safeties they have behind them are also superb football players. The mission of the three defensive linemen is going to be to knock down Army's offensive linemen and keep them from getting to the linebackers. That's what it's going to be. And if their defensive line does that and keeps the Army offensive line from getting to the linebackers, then they're going to shut us down unless we are able to throw over the top. And we're going to have to complete a few passes over the top just to keep them honest. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to put 7, 8, 9 guys in the box.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was telling Steve at dinner tonight that I think this is a game where our offensive coordinator needs to earn his paycheck. If we just run Tyre, Tyler right, Tyre, Tyler left, and Tyre up the middle, they're going to shut us down, and it's going to be a disaster. They only allow 41 yards a game now, so I think you're right. We're going to have to dump a few passes there, keep them honest, or we will get shut down. What do you think, Johnny?
I think if we run Tyre, Tyler left, and Tyre, Tyler right against the safeties and the linebackers on this football team, he will not be in the game very long.
No, he'll get killed. Well, hey, Steve, final comment for Mr. Johnny Brooks extraordinaire.
Yeah, looking at the statistics, again, a lot of strength on strength penalties. Both teams fairly disciplined, but it seems like Wisconsin's offense has struggled. Now, granted, Massey has them with the toughest strength of schedule. Sagarin has them with the second toughest strength of schedule. So it's hard to do a comparison, but still their offense seems to struggle a little bit. What do you think are some things that we need to take advantage of there, aside from maybe potential turnovers?
Well, if we don't shut their rush down and force them to pass, we'll have a hard time being competitive all day. So first thing we have to do is to shut their rush down, and I think we can do that. I'm a little disturbed that Duran is not doesn't appear to be healthy again, because he brings something added to the defensive line that we need, especially with his long, tall body of his, and especially blocking field goals and punts. We got to shut the rush down. But more significantly, we have to play a 4-quarter game. Yeah. We haven't played the 4-quarter game really since the first game of the year.
Yep.
Yeah. We have come out of the locker room at halftime very lacklusterly, if there's such a word. We can't do that. We just got to stop that. Usually we're a good second half and fourth quarter in particular ball club. We have not been that way this year.
Well, Johnny, I know one thing. I know you don't like to make predictions, so I'm not even going to ask you. How about that?
I am glad you didn't, because I had already prepared my speech that I wasn't going to give you a prediction.
All right. Well, hey, Johnny, thanks for calling in. Smokey Mike, let's go ahead and take our last break.
Thanks, Johnny.
And, hey, if you want to call us tonight, if you're out there in Radio Land, 256-576-4977, give us a shout. We'd love to talk to you. Crawdad back in a few for the final segment.
Drinking coffee straight from the pot. Power move. Wearing a bathrobe to work. Power move. Switching to super fast, extra reliable internet from WOW. Power move. Switch and save with WOW Internet for just $19.99 a month. It's switching season, so make a move with our best deal of the year. For a limited time, get Internet 100 with no contracts for just $19.99 a month. Plus, get a 2-year price lock and the first month free. Make the switch at wowway.com today. Wow. Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but one have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
Have you ever found exactly the right new car or truck with the exact features that you want and nothing else? Well, at Woody Anderson Ford, we can promise you just that. Hey, Bobby White back again, and you can now factory order your new Ford today, and you'll get your new car or truck exactly the way you want it. And there's no extra cost to custom order. Plus, you get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates. This applies to 2021 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, and Expedition. It's a win-win with a custom order at Woody Anderson Ford. You get the colors, the features, and the options that fit your life. Plus, you get notified when it's built, shipped, and ready to deliver. Listen, buying a new car or truck is likely the second largest investment you'll ever make. So why settle? Get exactly what you want with a custom factory order today and get $1,000 off MSRP. See how at WoodyAndersonFord.com or at the corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Welcome, Army sports fans, from sea to shining sea. This is the last stanza of Crawdad's countdown to kickoff tonight, and I want to make sure everybody knows to go see our friends at North Alabama Mortgage for anything you need done with financing in the housing, new or existing, or cash out, or whatever. NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. And Steve, before we get going, just one quick thing I think is funny. We're playing the Badgers. A lot of people think, oh, the Badgers, that's a furry little animal. Well, the way they got that nickname is in the 1820s, Wisconsin was famous for lead miners, and the lead miners were poor, and they often lived with their families in the mines, and the townspeople said they lived there like badgers, and that's how Wisconsin became the Badger state.
Smokes.
Didn't know that, did you?
No.
And Bucky Badger is actually Buckingham U Badger, so I thought that was interesting. Steve, another thing that's interesting is the game's winnable. Tell me how we're going to do it.
Yeah, there's going to have to be several things that are going to need to come together. I think Johnny Brooks hit on it. We've got to have a level of unpredictability with the offense, and yet do what we do and do it well. It's, the standard in terms of running approach. We've got to be effective. I think Johnny, the comment that he made that was real insightful. Our offensive line is going to have to get to that second level and get those second level breaks, because if those linebackers are free to roam, if their safety tandems are free to, then it becomes assignment football on the options and the pitches, and I think it'll be a long day. And this is a very, very capable defense, especially when you look at these defensive statistics, and when you realize that they've had one of the toughest strengths of schedule. They played 3 teams, all of them were losses, to top 15 teams, and yet you've got these impressive defensive statistics. This is going to be a very capable team. Now, on the other side of the ball, we've got to get pressure on the quarterback. They don't throw much either, and when they do throw, we cannot allow the quarterback to get comfortable. When you look at turnover margin, they're a -2. We're a plus 0.4. We should come away with 2 to 3 turnovers. And if we can do that, get them off the field. But more importantly, sort of like we were talking about with time of possession, it's not just the fact that you win the time of possession battle. It's what you do when you have the ball. Same way, we've got to put points on the board when we get those turnovers. That's going to be key.
Well, again, last week we won the time of possession, but old Crawdadism turn of Watop, wasted time of possession. Yes. We had a lot of wasted time of possession. Every one of our drives needs to end with a kick, an extra point, field goal, or a punt. We don't need to turn it over. And the other thing we got to do, and we did not do this against Ball State, we've got to play smart, error-free football. I mean, if you're playing quarterback and you're Tyler, and it looks like you're going to get tackled for a loss, take the tackle for a loss. Don't throw some absurd pass or some wild pitch that turns into a turnover.
Yeah.
We got to take our medicine when we have to take it. And again, I say that I think the key to this game is going to be Coach Brent Davis is going to have to earn his paycheck and get our offense out of the predictable mode. And against Ball State, Steve, we were so predictable. I could have sat there with, blind in one eye and drunk in the other, and I could have called the plays.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah. Yeah, but I think you're right. There's going to have to be some wrinkles that we throw at Wisconsin that they're not ready for, especially given the talent level. The other thing that I think is an intangible is, especially when we're playing on the road, they're going to be utilizing a Big Ten officiating crew that doesn't typically see the option, doesn't see a whole lot of cut blocks. And that's always one of my concerns, is that we get that 15-yard flag, calling it a chop block when it's a legitimate cut block. If that happens, more than once, we're going to be operating from a deficit. Just in terms of moving the chains, it's going to be tough, and that may shut down a possession or two.
And we cannot get behind the chains. But, hey, one more little thing. You mentioned it, so I'm going to bring it up. There's a cool connection between Wisconsin and Army, and that is this. Alan Amici, many of you may remember him as the Baltimore Colt who won the game in overtime, first big televised national championship game. He married his high school sweetheart, Yvonne. Then Mr. Amici passed away, and Yvonne married Glenn Davis, who was the Heisman Trophy winner from West Point.
So I think the only woman to be married to 2 Heisman Trophy winners.
Yeah, never heard of anything like that before, but that is a connection. There's not many more connections because this is our first meeting.
Yeah, first ever. So that's noteworthy. And again, I love that we play an elite program each year, and I think that from a recruiting standpoint, but I think it will up our game. Yeah, you always run the risk of injuries, but I still like it. Yeah.
Well, they're cheeseheads up in Wisconsin, and I hope we go up there and eat their cheese this weekend. And,
yes.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention to everybody that the televised game is, normally it's on CBS Sports Network. This one's not. It's on the Big Ten Network. Steve, give me a prediction.
I'm going to vote with my head and not my heart. I'm going to say 18-24 Wisconsin.
I was going to say 34-17 Wisconsin, but as we get out of here, folks, thanks to Smokey Mike, and remember this, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, there is a soldier standing watch so you can enjoy the great life you live here in this country. Go Army.
Beat Navy.
All right, we're out. Talk to you next week.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Time football presented by Geico. Number 22 NC State versus Boston College. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on ACCN. Go to getaccn.com for instant access.
The playoffs are here.
It's a total different atmosphere. It's a total different intensity. It's a total different feeling.
Swing and a drive. Good! Chris Taylor walks it off. Major League Baseball's postseason until a champion is crowned.
Once you get to the playoffs, you never know what can happen.
Throw to the plate, not in time. Major League Baseball's postseason, right here on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.